let's talk about different stages of business and what that means, and just a real quick view of this. And at every stage, a website or landing pages that you have kind of depend a little bit on the budget that you have, and also a little bit what are you trying to achieve. Now, I'm not going to go into detail on every one of these stages, but just understand that it evolves. A website and the landing pages you use evolve as you grow. For example, a company that's just starting up, maybe one or two people, the owner's driving it, and it's generating less than 100,000 a year in revenue. They can get away from a basic one-page website. They can get away with that versus all the way up to what we call the one percenters. And the reason why we call them that is because less than 1% businesses started ever get to 10 million in annual revenue. And there's a whole spectrum in between what's needed. But the fundamentals around design of what converts, especially in the contractor service business, those type of businesses is pretty standard. As your business grows, you layer on different design elements. And we'll get into some of those. Chris, how do you guys look at, you run the client services team here at Fannit. How do you guys look at business stages and thinking about design?
Yeah, great. Love to see that. But first, hi, Alessandro. How you doing?
Yeah.
Excited to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah. To Tony's point, like how we look at that, really, I mean, in our discovery process, right from the beginning, we're going to talk with, the business owners and the operators and figure out, what they've got going, what they've tried and what's worked, what's not worked, and what the goals are in the short and long term. And then start kind of reverse engineering, looking at the goal and then reverse engineer and scale backwards, and try to figure out, okay, and then establish milestones along the way for these different stages. In a perfect world, like my dream scenario is to find somebody that started a brand new business, had that bright idea and, got their LLC yesterday. And we can start in a place where we just get going and then have them in that 10 million revenue, inside of 5 years. But that, there's all of those stages, we try to plan through all the different channels and cultivating those channels to attract the audience and generate the audience that business needs and the quality of that audience, making sure that we can drive clicks, but having the right clicks in the right audience, getting the message and the business on the page in front of the eyes that need to see it. That's where our skill set lies. And that's where the strategy comes in. It's going through in all of those stages and identifying like, what are the things that we need to have in place when we get there? It's a constant evolution. Like the growth and scaling of our clients it's a process, not an event.
What's interesting to me as you're talking there is I think every business seems to update or want to update their website maybe every 2 to 3 years as you evolve. It just depends on how fast you move through these stages. Alessandro, from your standpoint, founder, CEO of Create Ape, you guys do a lot of website design, a lot of digital design.
I think it kind of depends on the nature of the site itself, right? Because there's such a vast gulf between a, 5-page informational Webflow site versus a even 5-page informational WordPress site. My general rule of thumb is, sites will live anywhere between 8 to 18 months, depending on, where the business falls in the stage of where they're at as a business. Obviously, startups are going to have a much harder time doing that than, maybe like a company that's in a growth stage.
The theme here is your website should evolve. And depending on what stage you're in right now and what you're looking for next to get to next, it should always evolve to where you're trying to go.